He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Reaction Monday here in the Doghouse. And, well, you know, when we signed off on Friday, the Pac-12 had 9 teams. And the Big 12 had 13 teams. And the Big 10 had 16 teams for the upcoming season in 2024. By the time I was done with dinner, the Pac-12 had 4. The Big 12 had 16, and the Big 10 had 18. I mean, look, the 10 might as well just snag Stanford and Cal. Just go for an even 20. I mean, just be done with it. Make it an even 20. I mean, look at the symmetry you'd have there. You could have a Big 10 East and a Big 10 West. The Big 10 West would have the 6 teams from the Pac-12, plus, I don't know, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Of course, of those, the closest would be Nebraska, a mere 1,600 miles from Oregon, and a mere 1,500 from L.A. I mean, why not? Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, only a couple of thousand miles away from Cali and from the West Coast and from Washington and Oregon. I mean, why not? So, in any event, this whole thing has a lot of people with their undies twisted in a knot. But you know what? I'm good with it. I'll be totally honest with you. Kind of go with it. Now, look, the bigger issue is the rest of the sports. But for football, I'm fine. I'm fine. It did make me start thinking about, you know, what about these softball teams? What about these baseball teams? What about these traveling and those things? And it almost made me think that, you know what, maybe we're going to come to the time where for football, college football in America has to be carved out of the conferences and kind of create its own thing. 64, 65 teams, whatever it is, and group them into 4 conferences, however you want to do it, that don't have anything to do with their conferences that the rest of the sports play in. Yeah, maybe something like that has to happen. I don't know. Now, we can explore all of these issues with John Ward from Saturday Out West in a few minutes. John was on last week. I think John was the one that said that we were not going to have, that he didn't think that Utah would go to the Big 12 because BYU would try to block them. Arizona State doesn't really care for, they're very into the Big Pac-12. Yeah, all of that went by the wayside. That lasted about 3 days. You know, if Cal and Stanford are going to stay put, then the only thing left for them to do is to go with Washington State and Oregon State and go to the Mountain West. No? I mean, the Mountain West has 12 teams right now. That means the Mountain West will be another 16-team league. It's not a power anything, the Mountain West. But neither is Washington State and Oregon State and Stanford and Cal. Just go join the Mountain West and be done with it. Call it Mountain West. You'd have San Diego State, and you'd have San Jose State, and Hawaii, and the other teams that are in the Mountain West. That's it. I mean, remember, the playoff model, by the way, there's some heavy-duty storms moving in, depending on where you're at right now. There is some heavy-duty storms. I know at our palatial studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone, it is banging out there right now. And the same thing is going on at our Big Dog Production Studios. You might can hear it. Can you hear it a little bit? No? Maybe not. You might could hear it. It's bombing. So if we go away temporarily at some particular point in time, you'll understand. It's a little rough out there right now. Look, remember, the playoff model that begins next year when all of this realignment happens, The playoff model that begins next year calls for the 6 highest-ranked conference champions to get automatic berth in the tournament. So, sure, the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12 champs all go. But then there are 2 more automatic seats at the table for the AAC, the Mountain West, Conference USA, Sun Belt, and MAC. 2 of the 5 champions of those those smaller conferences were going to get into the playoff. Because the Pac-12 is gonzo. And it wasn't like of the Power 5 and then the next highest ranked group of 6. No. It's the 6 highest ranked conference champions, period. They could all be from the Sun Belt, the Conference USA, I mean, in an alternate world, the AAC, the Mountain West, and the MAC, those 5 champions, and the SEC champ. Because in any world, whether they're alternate worlds or not, on any planet, anywhere, the SEC champion always goes as the number 1 seed. I mean, that's what should happen at least. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. Look, as Deion Sanders basically said, this is NIL for the schools. Look, the kids are after the money. The coaches are after the money. And the schools are after the money. Quote, everyone's looking for a bag, end quote. I think that's how he put it. I think that's how he put it. I think he said everyone's looking for a bag. Now, Nick Saban talked about the loss of tradition and rivalries, but that's been going on for years. Look, Nebraska and Oklahoma. Am I the only one that's old enough to remember Nebraska and Oklahoma? I know Nick does. Nebraska-Oklahoma was a tremendous rivalry back in the day. So was Colorado and Nebraska. But you know what? We got Texas and Texas A&M back, and I see no reason why the Civil War between Oregon and Oregon State, or the Apple Cup between Washington and Washington State, or Bedlam between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State has to go away. I see no reason why. Not what Florida State and Florida are playing. Clemson and South Carolina are playing. Georgia and Georgia Tech are playing. I see no reason for these other ones to go away. Why should they? In the East, we had the backyard brawl between West Virginia and Pitt that went away in 2012 after 68 straight years. They played it last year, and they're going to play 8 games over the next 12 years. It should be every year. So what? They're in different conferences. I think being in different conferences makes it even sexier, to be honest with you. I like the concept of these teams being in different conferences. Because not only is it, Florida against Florida State, it's the SEC against the ACC. I like that until Florida State comes into the SEC. Look, this is a great time in college football to see the best teams on the field together more often. We've kind of haven't we grown a little weary of the same teams? I'm excited to see Oklahoma and Texas playing SEC teams. I'm excited to see USC and UCLA playing Big Ten games. All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The stations is 97.7 ESPN. We're on the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. We are not on the threads. We don't need no stinking threads. You can watch the show on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV. Watch it there. Get notifications. Go get the links at 977ESPN.com to all of that. And while you're at it, get our app where you can find links to Zone 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 as well, because it's not going to be long to where all of those are going to be filled up with high school football. It won't be long now. So last Thursday night, Fox had national coverage of the Yankees and the Astros, which is one of baseball's best rivalries in the last 5 or 6 years. And it drew the biggest weeknight baseball rating of the season and of ever, with just over 2 million viewers watching a Thursday night baseball game on Fox broadcast TV between the Yankees and the Astros. In the meantime, opposite that game, on NBC, the Browns and the Jets rookies and free agents played a scrimmage in the Hall of Fame game with no Aaron Rodgers, no Deshaun Watson, no Nick Chubb, no nobody. Basically all 3s and 4s and guys that are going to be playing in various spring leagues next year. They'll be playing in the XFL, the USFL, and the AFL. And that game got 6 million viewers. I mean, we're sick. We are sick people. We are sick people. 6 million of us watched a JV scrimmage football game while 2 million watched the Yankees and the Astros during a pennant race. All right, over there in that little glass booth, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air. A little bit rattled maybe by the storm. He's a little bit rattled by it. He keeps pointing to the heavens. A little, look out your window. All you got to do is look out your window. I don't know, maybe we're off the air. Maybe, I just saw the lights flash. He keeps, maybe we're off the air. I don't know.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together on a spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Thom. Hey, Thom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizz, I see the lights flashing and everything going on. Are you sure we're on the air?
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the air.
Yeah, we're still on the air. I think everything's still rolling right now. I have not lost any internet. I have not lost any connections that I know of so far.
Yeah.
And yes, no, it is a little spooky because when you have these headphones on, because these are noise canceling headphones. I just heard that. I actually heard that time. Sometimes you hear it and sometimes you don't. So you don't know if it's like someone coming up the stairs behind you or if you don't know what's going on. But there's a lot more coming behind it. And it's just now hitting.
Oh, is there?
I just looked at the My Radar app. There's more coming behind it. And just be safe out there. And it sounds pretty nasty out there. Yesterday was wild. It hit right next to my house, and lightning and thunder is scary.
What time was that yesterday? Because I was on the water. After church. We went out on the boat after church.
Right before the soccer game. So it was like around.
What soccer game?
HCFC.
Oh, you mean our soccer? Well, I didn't know if you were talking about the pitiful, pathetic chicks soccer game in the morning.
Oh, yeah, not at 4:30 in the morning. No,
I didn't know if you meant
showers.
then or later in the soccer, in the
4:30 in the afternoon.
SC. They won, didn't they? They won again?
Yes,
didn't they win again?
Beat FC Cincinnati too.
It's like 5 or 6 in a row.
Yeah,
or
getting
something.
into playoff contention, and they got 5 home games left, and they got a game this Wednesday, playing the Columbus Crew. They just 1-0 each time. They played them twice already. They play them one time at home, so they're going to get them at home one time, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
should be a lot of fun.
All right, so anyway, so that was late. Yeah, we had something going on late too. It was we got off the lake at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, somewhere in there, and it was getting a little. You could see off in the distance something, but you could see to the south of Woods Reservoir where we were. You could see something was going on there, so that must have been what it was. It never really hit here though.
Oh man, I would not want to be anywhere near on Gunnersville when it's storming, and it is like an ocean.
It is scary.
Yeah, it is like an ocean.
Well, not only that, it's just scary because you got lightning flashing all over the place and the occasional tornado. It's not fun.
Been through it.
I have done that, been there, done that. Pulled in one time under a great, storm. Pulled in under a dock, to get shelter.
My dad and I did the same thing. Yeah.
And it was an all-metal dock. It wasn't one of the
wood ones. It was
an all-metal dock, top to bottom, metal touching the water, everything else. But it was, they have to be grounded. So true story, A storm is going on. Me and my buddy are pulled in under this dock. It's in a tournament. We caught a 7-pounder. He caught it. Caught a 7-pounder off the back of the boat, casting from under the dock out into the rain. Caught a 7-pounder.
Just hanging out.
Some of
the places right there next to those docks.
Yeah, well, normally, but even there, during a storm, it was amazing how, usually the storm will drive them down a little bit, but they were freaking out during that storm. There was no doubt about it. By the way, yesterday Saturday. When was the fight? It was Saturday. Saturday was the fight between the Chicago White Sox and the Cleveland Guardians, and two guys squared off. Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson, they squared off like like a hockey fight. Usually when you get a fight in baseball, everybody's just kind of squeezing each other. And this was like one day after the 7th or the however many anniversary it is, not the 7th, the 20th or something, 25th anniversary, I don't know, whatever it was, of when Robin Ventura charged the mound against Nolan Ryan. Robin Ventura was 26 years old, and he charged 46-year-old Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan put him in a headlock and jackhammered him about 15 times.
I want some of that baseball, baby. Like I need that again. I need that again.
That was like 25 years ago.
I like hockey baseball. Come on now. Give me some fights like that.
So this one here, that's what they did. They squared off like a hockey fight. They kind of squared off, and Tim Anderson is kind of bobbing and weaving and stuff. He's like kind of moving around. And Jose Ramirez catches him flush on the jaw. Tom Hamilton is on the baseball call for the Guardians. It was amazing.
Now Jose and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
Oh, it's fantastic. The down goes Frazier. I mean, channeling down goes Frazier is timeless. Timeless. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. You all know down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. And he channeled that with the down goes Anderson call.
That was absolutely, that's kind of like what I like about baseball. Let the guys get off a little frustration. I don't like these friendly, matchups. Everyone's got to be a buddy. Like, give me some of that, and I like it. I like the fierceness of it. I like that in baseball. I like, the intensity.
Yeah, but what I don't like is when they start throwing at guys for no reason at all. Did you see last week? There was a deal. I forget who the participants were, but it was a guy hit a guy, and he didn't hit him on purpose.
Oh, it was the guy for the Cardinals?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he hit that dude by mistake, right? So he didn't hit that dude, and what happened was the guy got up. He was going out of the game. The guy gave him a hug. I mean, the pitcher gave him a hug and said, "I'm sorry," right? He didn't mean to do that, and all that other kind of stuff. And then. No. It wasn't that. What happened was this. The batter swung on a pitch, on a strike. He missed the ball, and he swung, and when he went around in his backswing, he hit the catcher in the head. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He
I
hit
remember
the catcher in the head, all right? The catcher the batter felt terrible. He hugged the catcher. The catcher had to leave the game with a concussion. He leaves the game, but the batter who hit him was very upset that he hit him with his bat. And on the next, so he leaves, they bring a new catcher in, and on the next pitch, the guy comes inside on him. Okay, fine. And then on the next pitch, he hits him in the ass. He just plunks him right in the butt.
And he didn't throw it that hard, too.
No, he just threw like 86 mile an hour. Yeah. But the point is that the guy dropped the bat and went to first.
Yeah.
And it's like, but why are you hitting a guy who hit your catcher by mistake? He hit your catcher and then the guy got thrown out. The pitcher gets thrown out of the game, and the pitcher's like,